What's going on, everyone? So, when the Los Angeles Lakers signed Marcus Smart, it was an excellent pickup. I mean, he has the potential to solve a ton of needs, especially when you lose a guy like Dorian Finney-Smith. I think Marcus Smart is going to help kind of make up a lot of that. Just him being able to do the dirty work, make the hustle plays, be relentless on the defensive side of things. This is a guy that can be our anchor defensively, guy that could be a mentor for guys like Bronny James. Right? I think Bronny James and even Adu Thero, just helping them kind of see the court from a defensive perspective, because if they're going to get minutes, that's how they're going to get minutes, being that relentless menace on the defensive side of the ball, right? And I think Bronny James as well as Thero, I think two guys that Marcus Smart can really work with and kind of help shape and mold, because again, he was a guy that was a defensive player of the year, a guy that was, all defensive teams, and still we're not that far removed from. So the big question with Marcus Smart is just the health. Right? Can he stay healthy? Can he be out there on the basketball court? Because if he can, this is a guy that can really make an impact for this team and is exactly what this team needed. That point of attack, versatile defensive player. A guy that can defend 1 through 3, guy that, can be kind of that defensive anchor, be a leader in the locker room, all of that. And that's what Marcus Smart is. Even Rob Pelinka talked about how, hey, we brought him in because we thought he was a guy that could really kind of set the tone defensively, be a leader on the defensive side of things, be the anchor on the defense side of things, but also just be a leader, period, which is what he was with the Boston Celtics. So one of my concerns when they moved off of him of who's going to be that leader for them? But then, they ended up getting, Drew Holiday, Kristaps Porzingis, and they already had Derek White and all that stuff. So it's kind of all right, they're just talented, right? They don't even need a leader. They're talented, right? But Marcus Smart, he's a guy that I do think can impact this team in several facets. However, that's great. I too believe that he can be that defensive anchor. I do believe that he can be that kind of leader and mentor and all of those things that we need from this team. And I do think he will be healthier than he was last year. He's been working on his conditioning and his body and all that stuff all offseason because he understands, he's aware, he wants to have a better season and kind of prove to the league. But here's the thing. It's hard to lead from a place where you're not allowed to get established, right? If they're going to bring Marcus Smart off the bench and have him play 20 minutes a night off the bench, it's going to be hard for him to really truly be that defensive anchor, right? I believe Marcus Smart needs to start. Personally, and this is just me, I believe he should start over Austin Reaves. Nothing against Austin Reaves. I like Austin Reaves. I know people think I hate him. I don't. I think he's a very good player. But I think he's a redundancy in the starting unit. Now, I see a lot of people that want Rui Hachimura to go to the bench and Marcus Smart to solder alongside him. My concern with that is you lose his shooting, right? Rui Hachimura has been very good off ball. Am I honest? I want to move both of them to the bench, both a Rui Hachimura as well as an Austin Reaves. Let them kind of bolster the bench. Let both of them kind of be themselves. You can actually move Rui to the floor at that point, right? And LeBron goes to the bench, boom, Rui comes in. Luka goes to the bench, Austin Reaves comes in, right? I ideally would like to do that. I just don't know if the Lakers are going to sit both of them. And also, Rui can check out at times. Right, we've seen it in the past. Where Austin Reaves, he's actually just as good. His stats are exactly the same, but he's more efficient off the bench because he's going up against bench unit guys, and he's better. He's a starter. He's a good basketball player, right? But if I'm being honest, I don't think that they will replace Austin Reaves for him, but that's what I would do personally because I think now you allow him to really anchor the defense, and he's at a position point where he can anchor said defense, right? He can be kind of the head of the snake for this team and be that defensive guy and get on guys like Ayton to be that rim deterrent and set the tone defensively. It's why I want them to start, a Jared Vanderbilt alongside him, or if Jake LaRavia really shows the legit two-way capabilities, then fine, you can go with him. But personally, and especially with Luka, right? Luka likes to start early. He likes in the first. How many times have we seen him, even with Dallas, take half of his attempts in the first quarter? He's a guy that wants to go get 30 in the first and kind of uses that to set the tone the rest of the game. So I think it would be better to kind of go with those defensive pieces because I think between Luka, LeBron, and DeAndre Ayton, you're going to have more than enough offensive firepower. Marcus Smart can knock down the three ball, see what happens with Jared Vanderbilt, but I think you'd be fine. I think you'd be able to work that out because Luka wants to get the attempts, and he doesn't mind the traffic. Right? The reason Jared Vanderbilt and guys like Marcus Smart, if he's not efficient from three-point range, reason it's hard to play those guys with an Anthony Davis and a LeBron James is because they want the paint cleared. Right? Because LeBron James, what does he want to do? He wants to, look down, shoot a three, or put his head down, get to the basket, and then finish, at the rim. And if not, if the defense collapses, kicking out to the corner man or the open shooters. Well, Anthony Davis, same thing. He wants to kind of get to his spots, elevate, shoot from that little elbow, or just take guys off the dribble, do his little raindrop, his little teardrop. And the problem is that teams, when you have guys like Jared Vanderbilt and stuff on the court, what happens is teams just pack the paint, right? We've seen it. And now that makes Anthony Davis and LeBron have to work twice as hard because they can't do the things that they do. And they're not really jump shooters, right? They can shoot over the top and stuff like that, but it's not really their preferred game, right? They want to take, Anthony Davis wants to take that first step, beat a guy off the dribble, and then just kind of stop and do the little float, right? He wants to kind of operate in that manner. We watch it all the time. That first drop step, boom, and then he's there at the brim, right? Knock down the 15-footer. He can knock down the little elbow, all that stuff. That's great. LeBron, same thing. He can kind of operate that little turnaround on the elbow. He can kind of get to that free throw line extended area and shoot over the top. But it's not something that they want to do possession after possession after possession. Where Luka, on the other hand, loves it. Right? What does he like to do? He likes to create that dribble penetration. Defenses collapse. Easy outlet to the lob threat. Or he just shoots over the top of them. He is that guy in the mold of an SGA and stuff like that, right? He's a guy that wants to shoot over the top. So a guy like Jared Vanderbilt, you're not as concerned with because Jared Vanderbilt doesn't matter, right? You don't need him necessarily to spread the floor. It's nice. It's a luxury. I'm not saying you have to necessarily play Jared Vanderbilt 40 minutes or Marcus Smart 40 minutes, but you can kind of let your defensive players set the tone on the defensive side of things. It's hard to set the tone 10 minutes into the game. When you want to set the tone immediately, right? You want to set the tone. The guys gear up, give the daps, all that. Boom, ball goes up, tone set. Let's go. Slapping on the court. Marcus Smart is ready to gear up. DeAndre Ayton's buying in. Everyone is locked in and engaged on the defensive side. You want to set the tone immediately. You don't want to set the tone at the 7-minute mark when, now Austin Reeves is going to the bench or Rui's going to the bench and you're bringing in a Marcus Smart. Right? Because at that point, the game could already be in a place that could potentially get away from you, right? And especially if Luka does continue to want to get things going in the first quarter, then when Luka's cooking, if you have guys like Marcus Smart and Jared Vanderbilt in the starting unit, you have the defense now to start to create that separation. Because we saw at times, right? Luka would go and give you 20 in the first quarter, but that gap was still small, right? Luka would have 25 in a quarter, but that gap was still small. Lakers are only up by 7. Well, if you have guys like Marcus Smart and Jared Vanderbilt who can really set the tone, lock in, and engage, now all of a sudden those gaps are 15. Now, at that point, the game might already be over by the time, anything happens. But you set the tone on both sides of the basketball. You're dictating and controlling where this game's going to go and how we're going to approach it and how we're going to go about it, right? Kind of hard to set the tone for the game when the game has already started, right? You want to set the tone at the beginning of the game. So we keep hearing from everybody and all these talks and all these reports and Rob Pelinka himself and everybody talking about how Marcus Smart, he's setting the tone. He's the leader. He's going to be the defensive anchor. He's going to be this, that, and the other. And that's great. I love it. I believe he can too. But again, how do you set the tone midway through the quarter? Right? You've already played a tenth of the game. It's you're not going to have as big of an impact on the overall game because now you're going to spend the rest of the quarter getting established and set. And at that point, the game is a completely different game. It's already had its ebbs and flows. You've already allowed players to build confidence. How many games have we watched where the random role guy just had a career night. Right? It's like every game, some player, is just going off for 30. Right? You've already built that confidence. Now Marcus Smart is coming in to defend, and it's too late. Right? Because he's already confident. He already thinks he can score on anybody and over everybody, and he's the new Michael Jordan, right? Like, he's already out there cooking and roasting and doing all that stuff. Right? So what do? You set the tone early, and you prevent that. And you don't let that guy, unless that is the defense, like, hey, let the random guy go get 30, shut down everyone else, right? Sometimes that is the strategy. But you don't want to allow teams to build and gain confidence early on and then try to move, and now guys are coming in and doing that. Like, yes, there's adjustments, yes, there's changes. That doesn't mean you're not going to win games or anything like that. But if you really want to, you're going to be good offensively. The last thing the Lakers need to worry about is offense. It's the defense. It's balancing it out, right? And you need to set the defensive tone. But let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me out as we enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one.